And we have 4 of the 5 subcommittee members in attendance, 2 remote and 2 in person. So I'll go ahead and call the meeting to order, and Judge Travis may, of course, join us. During the course of the meeting, we have 2 right, or we think it's funding streams to address today: SASP and SABAF, SASP and SAFAF. On the agenda, we will take SASP first. This is for the 2026 cycle. And again, my thanks to the staff for sending out the RFP info. It's always helpful for me to refresh my recollection, looking back at the priority areas, et cetera. And if I was reviewing the spreadsheet correctly, we've got 3 different groups for the SASP grants to talk about. But if you would, maybe give us a little bit of general background, just more as a refresher for us before we actually consider the recommendations.
Sure. So our SAS funding, the Sexual Assault Services Program, is one of our federal grants. It's to support rape crisis centers and other organizations that assist victims of sexual assault, without regard to age. So we met with ICJI, the Sexual Assault Coalition, last week to review our recommendations, and we came up with these recommendations together. We had 20 applicants this round. Of those, 9 were new applicants to SASP, just quite a few. So we had 11 returning and 9 new ones. It's pretty small funding, so it's a very narrow allowability. So we don't usually get a lot of applicants for this program. We did try to prioritize rape crisis centers because that's what the funds are for. We did have 9 rape crisis centers apply. There are currently 16 certified in the state, with another 2 pending certification. So maybe a year from now we'll have 18. And then of these applicants here, we did have 9 submit applications who are not trying to be a rape crisis center. So they're sexual assault service providers.
Can you talk just a little bit about the distinction between those?
Yeah, so to be a certified rape crisis center, you have to do certain provide certain services. One of the big ones is to respond 24/7 on call to hospitals, and to have a crisis line 24/7. And that's usually the hold up for people to get that certification, is to have the staff available to respond 24/7, either via phone or in person at the hospital. So consequently, most of our agencies that we have who are rape crisis centers are actually dual providers. They provide domestic violence services, primarily shelters, because they already have the infrastructure available for the 24/7. That right? Yeah. So it's a little easier for them to make the jump over than someone who doesn't have those services in place already. That's a little summary. Any other? Oh, that just joined us as well.
Welcome, Judge. Any general preliminary kind of background questions about the SASP before we consider the call it 3 groups of recommendations from staff to the subcommittee?
I jumped ahead and already asked mine, so.
I said any. If not, again, if I review the spreadsheet correctly, we have 12 of the 20 applicants. Staff is recommending receive awards in the amounts they requested, and I believe those are pages 1 through 3 of the spreadsheet. Again, and I think overall there was around 1.4 million for this SASP this go around.
That's correct.
And so if the subcommittee adopts staff's recommendation as to those 12, that would be approximately 1.2 million of the roughly 1.4 that's available. But with the subcommittee's indulgence, I'll propose to proceed as we've done before, which is to open the floor for formal discussion. I'll move that the subcommittee adopt the staff's recommendations as to those 12 programs, that being that they receive awards in the amounts reflected on the appropriate column on the spreadsheet through pages 1 through 3. So there's a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion and a second. Discussion about these 12 specifically, questions, concerns, what have you? Anybody? Right. Hearing none, we'll take a vote. We'll do it, online first, just so we keep track of things. Sheriff? You're in
Aye.
favor? Aye. Bernice?
Aye.
Amy Marie?
Aye.
And, Lori?
Aye.
Mark is in favor as well. So those programs or agencies will receive awards as indicated, any amounts as indicated on the spreadsheet. The second group, again, if I was reading correctly, there are two listed on page 4 of the spreadsheet. Recommendations from the staff to the subcommittee are that they receive awards in amounts different or less than what they requested. But if we adopt staff's recommendations, this would mean an award of approximately $152,000 between those two programs. I will move that the subcommittee adopt staff's recommendations as to those two programs and ask if there is a second.
Second.
Motion and second. Is there any discussion, questions about those two programs? Again, page 4 of the spreadsheet for the SASB grant applicants.
Well, my
I do have a-
observation. Yeah, go
go
ahead.
ahead.
Go ahead, Sheriff.
And I think I bring this up almost always, but I don't know if I need to every time. But this is where I've, as the sheriff, I've done fundraising for the Caring Place through the gift cards and for clothing and mileage and gas cards, things like that in the past. In the past, I have not needed to abstain, I don't believe, but I don't know if I need to bring that up every time the Caring Place comes up in something.
I don't know that you need to. I appreciate that you remind us of that. It's my opinion, for what it's worth, that it's different matter if you're sitting actually on the board than if you're actually helping a program do what it does. But if you feel more comfortable, you may abstain. We've got enough, but I don't think you have to. It's
Okay.
a subcommittee. Is that
Okay.
okay?
All right. I'm not
observation-
uncomfortable with voting.
All
Okay.
right. My observation was simply that they are being fully funded except for some mileage, something they did wrong, like a few $100 or $1,000. So
Okay.
Other questions, comments? I'll vote again. Sheriff, if you're in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Bernice?
Aye.
Amy Marie?
aye.
Lori?
Aye.
And I am in favor as well, so that motion passes also. The third group, pages 5 and 6 of the spreadsheet, there are 6 by my count, and hopefully that's correct. The staff is recommending that they not receive funding. The reasons, rationale, as always, is in the far right column. But, before making more, is there anything preliminarily from staff about any of these that you have mentioned, Ken?
There's some common things. They're all new applicants to SASP. That's one common thing. We also have several of them are applying for funding in regions that we already have a Great Crisis Center certified in. So services are being covered in that region. And then there's a couple, State Coalition for Human Rights. We've had some concerns about them on previous fundings. So at this point, we're not providing additional funding because of those previous issues that we had. And then Assist is a certified Red Crisis Center in Johnson County. They didn't receive SAS before. They always only receive SAVF. As you can tell by the score in that fourth column, it was a very low score, 42 out of 100. It was a very maybe quickly written application. And it was really unclear about what services are going to be covered by SAS and if they were going to be allowable. SAS doesn't allow things like medical services and anything that helps with prosecution of cases. Assist is a dual agency, as in they are a same program, a Rape Crisis Center, and the Child Advocacy Center. They do all 3 services. And so they really didn't separate those out very well in their application to make sure it wasn't unallowable. Although the Rape Crisis Center, and we didn't have 314,000 either to award them.
As always, If staff has not done so, I assume to some extent you'll reach out to all the recipients.
Yeah, I mean, they receive funding from us, so yeah, we'll be in communication with them about how to move forward.
Any other questions, comments? If not, for this,
I just had one comment, which is I appreciated that, like, they're all new applicants, and that was the one, that one was a really big ask. The rest of them were kind of
They were.
certainly much more modest,
Yeah.
but, I think it's a reasonable strategy to try to fund like big amounts or whole recommendations instead of like, when you only have a limited pot, everyone gets a tiny little piece, which doesn't really move the needle very much in any one particular way. So I actually appreciated the strategy.
Thank you.
thank you. There's no other questions or comments. Take the vote, Sheriff.
Aye.
Bernice,
Aye.
Amy Marie,
Aye, thank you.
and Lori.
Could you call for a second before I ask my question?
I didn't catch a second. I don't have one noted.
I would second your motion,
Okay.
Mr. Chair.
Paying more attention than I do.
I thought I missed it, so, okay, good.
Now that there is a second, Sheriff, is your vote still aye?
It's still an aye.
Bernice,
Still an aye. Thank you.
Amy Marie,
Still an aye, thank you.
Lori, I'm in favor as well. Thank you for pointing out my Robert's Rules of Order error. That motion passes as well. Anything further from staff about SASP?
Nope.
Next one is SAVAF, Sexual Assault Victim Assistance Fund. Yeah, if my count was correct, we're talking about the 24 applicants. Wait for this one. And again, if you don't mind, a little bit of background or overview for this.
Sure. So this is a state allocation that we get appropriation. Again, it's for rape crisis centers and those organizations who provide sexual assault services. Again, we try to prioritize the rape crisis centers. And just as the SAS, we met with ICJI last week, the Sexual Assault Coalition, to get their input on these recommendations. And this is our combined recommendation for these funds.
And again, these are just approximate numbers. It looks like there's about 9.3 million available. If we adopt staff's recommendations, roughly 7.4 million would be awarded, leaving 1.8, 1.9 million available. What will or might become of that remainder amount?
Sure. So in 2026 is our time again to do our VOCA application. And we have less funds available this round than in previous years. So we're going to try to supplement some of these rape crisis centers with who receive a decrease on VOCA to have them get additional STABAF funds. We're going to open up a second round in June after the VOCA, the board meeting in June, where VOCA awards are announced. And then try to then move some of these folks who lost VOCA funding over to STABAF and coordinate those grant periods. So when VOCA 24 ends, STABAF, the new STABAF will start, and they'll end when the next round of STABAF, they can start again. So kind of switching people from VOCA to STABAF.
So the way I
Yeah.
understand that it is generally being held in reserve, if you will.
It is.
This cycle timing and so forth,
Right.
as
Right.
opposed to going away if it's not
Yeah.
distributed.
Yeah. Yeah.
Any other general or preliminary questions about the SAVAF funding stream?
No.
Now, this time there are three groups as well. The first one, staff's recommendations to the subcommittee are that 8 of the applicants receive funding in the amounts they requested, which would be roughly $3.2 million. Pages 1 and 2 of the spreadsheet In order to open the floor formally for discussion, I'll move that the subcommittee adopt staff's recommendations that these programs receive awards in the amounts reflected in the appropriate column on the spreadsheet. Is there a second?
Second.
There is a motion and a second for this uh, group of 8. Any questions about any specific programs, or Kim, anything in particular about any of the 8 that you wanted to share with the subcommittee that you think may be helpful for us to know? Understand?
No, I don't think so. We did recommend a little bit different than, although we said they recommend what they requested, our recommendation does include some calculation errors.
Oh.
So we recommend all the expenses, just fix their math for them.
Thanks for that.
So some cases it's less, some cases it's more.
Gotcha. Thank you for the clarification.
Yeah. Yep.
If there are no other questions or comments, take the vote. Sheriff, if you're in favor,
Aye.
please say aye. Bernice
Aye.
and Amy Marie,
Aye, thank you.
Lori,
Aye.
I'm in favor as well, so that motion passes. Next group, I believe, is comprised of 12 agencies or programs. If we adopt staff's recommendations, that would be approximately 4.1 million awarded to them. I will move that the subcommittee adopt staff's recommendations for those 12, and that they receive awards in the amounts reflected on pages 3 through 5 of the spreadsheet. Is there a second?
Second.
There is a motion and a second. Questions, comments about any one of these 12 in particular, or staff, if anything you want to point out about any of these in particular, that would be appreciated.
No, nothing real outstanding of these either.
Any questions, comments from folks? Seeing none, I'll call the vote. Sheriff,
Aye.
Bernice,
Aye.
Amy Marie,
Aye, thank you.
Lori,
Aye.
and I am in favor as well, so that motion passes. The third and final group are 4 programs or agencies with a recommendation on page 6 of the spreadsheet. Recommendation from staff is that they receive no funding. I will move that the subcommittee adopt those recommendations. And after we have a second, again, maybe there's something in particular about any of these 4, but is there a second to my motion?
Second.
Motion and second. Staff, anything you want to point out in particular about any of these?
These are all new applicants as well as the staff, so all 4 of them. 3 of the 4, same as last time, we do cover Red Crisis Center in their region that they said they provide services in. The one that's different is Peace Restored. They are a brand new agency to us. We never funded them before. Their application just has some unallowable costs in it. Again, it goes back to those medical services. They want to start a sexual assault program, nurse examiner program. And also they limit it to female only, which would be, they have to provide service to everyone. And their application was really specific about working with only females.
Is this one also non-age specific? Is
It
it
could be any age,
any age? Yeah.
Yep. any age.
So if someone has like a SANE program, are there other funding streams that allow them to get their medical expenses?
So we can't cover any medical expenses, any of the grants from our division. We can cover some of the other expenses they incur. We can do like on-call time. We can do some equipment. We can fund a coordinator for the program, but all those are on VOCA.
Okay.
Yep.
Thank you.
So we do fund same programs. They're just all on VOCA.
Okay.
And it's just limited the type of expense that we can cover.
Thank you.
Any other questions, comments? All right, we'll take the vote. Sheriff,
Aye.
Bernice,
Aye.
Amy Marie,
Aye, thank you.
Lori,
Aye.
and I'm in favor as well, so that motion passes as well. Again, that's going to leave just shy of 2 million in what I call held in reserve, which I don't think is inaccurate. For that possible next go round mid-year.
Yeah, mid-year.
Mid-year.
Yep.
No other business that I'm aware of for us to take up? Correct?
No.
business.
Anything for the good of the order, as I used to say back in my college fraternity days.
I just lend my deepest apologies for being a couple minutes late. I just got out of court, so I'm so sorry.
Well, Judge, I hope you don't mind that in spite of no court starting until the judge takes the bench, we were all set to begin, even though you were not at your desk, but no need to apologize.
Thank you. You're very
Uh,
kind.
It is hard to believe, but Thanksgiving is quote unquote just around the corner. So I hope
Yeah.
everybody has a pleasant, safe and happy Thanksgiving. And if you travel, I hope your travel is safe and uneventful. Maybe it won't be as bad as it has been these last few weeks here in this great country of ours. Anything
Happy
else from
Thanksgiving.
anybody? If
All right.
not, peace and take
Hi.
care.
Happy Thanksgiving, everyone.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Too.
Bye.